my own.
Okay.
So would you support the abolition of the IRS?
I would support the abolition of a few agencies.
The IRS, so we do away with income tax. Income tax is gone.
Well, there would have to be something in place, but we can get rid of the IRS as we know it by simplifying the tax code, looking at the fair tax, the flat tax. But simply, as we know it today, we have to get rid of the IRS as we know it.
So that would keep the IRS. We're just going to get rid of it as we know it.
Well, you have to have...
Let me... I mean, the question here is actually flat tax, fair tax. So this person really wants the IRS largely gone. Which one would you favour of those two?
Well, I'd be good with the fair tax, but you have to deal with the 16th Amendment because you cannot have that hanging out there.
Totally agree.
Because you leave that out there and those politicians are going to say, well, there's another avenue to tax people, so you have to get rid of that. But anything's better than what we have now, that's for sure.
All right, so you want the abolition of the 16th Amendment before you would agree to that then?
I think that's the best approach, Simon.
Okay, what are the 3 things in the US budget you would cut in order to balance it?
You're going to have to cut a lot more than 3 things to balance the budget, that's for sure. But you can start with the Department of Energy, EPA, Department of Commerce, the IRS as we know it. I mean, maybe it's just one person who gets the envelope.
Okay, so these are abolition departments.
Yeah, I mean, the Department of Commerce, it seems to me that if you want commerce and capitalism to flow, the economy can do that on its own. I don't know why you need a Department of Commerce. And the EPA, I mean, we all want safe water. We want to breathe clean air. But I think a lot of that can be done at the state level. I mean, we care more. We are closer to the people here. Our DNR is close and accountable, and so we can deal with that better.
Okay. Education, would you get rid of the Department of Education?
I'd get rid of it as we know it, of course, but I would. My grandmother was a teacher. My aunt was a teacher. They were Democrats, and they'd say, David, family discussions around the holidays are always exciting. They said, David, why do we have a federal Department of Education? I said, well, go back and check the record years ago, Grandma. I wasn't even alive when it came around, but we can empower our schools, parents, and teachers the way we used to, at the state level, at the local level. So it would be tough to do, but I think we should do that zero-based budgeting where their Department of Education comes up and says, and we say, you're starting at zero, what do you need and why? Make sure we can really justify.
Well, I think we're going to have to get you back on my show because we don't have time to go into the whole as we know it part of that. It sounds vaguely political to me, that. Makes me cringe. So that was that's for the audience. Now I've got a couple for you myself. First of all, I'll ask everybody this: will you term limit yourself, and if so, how many terms?
Well, when it comes to term limits, I would like a constitutional amendment for term limits, where everybody's on the equal playing field. I don't want to disarm Iowa in my state. Let's say I do 12 terms, and it looks like maybe in the 14th year, or 12 years, I'm sorry.
I'd be there.
12 years. Let's say 2 terms, 12 years. And it looks like, though, in the 14th year, I could be chairman of the budget committee. Mm-hmm. And there would be a real opportunity there to go for zero-based funding and balanced budgets and that kind of thing. And will I shortchange Iowa while all the other senators are still going? So I want to make sure that Iowa's not shortchanged. I want it to be a fair term limiting. And that's a constitutional amendment.
So you want everybody term limited, but if that doesn't happen, you won't term limit yourself, because that might shortchange Iowa.
Well, I think so, yeah. I mean, seniority is effective. And Senator Grassley, I think, has shown great use of seniority for Iowa.
Okay. All right. Will you promise us that you will never vote for a bill you haven't read?
Yeah. They're monstrous.
It's so simplistic, isn't it? What about if they don't give you time to read it? I mean, because often that happens. Hey, here's 2,000 pages. We're voting on it tomorrow, David. What are you going to do? I mean,
I would like to vote no. I mean, if I don't know what's in it, the devil's always in the details.
Right. So if you haven't read it, you'd vote no. Is that the commitment?
Yeah. But I plan to read everything.
Sure. No, I understand. I'm saying if they don't give you time. Right. So if you haven't read it, you'll vote no on it. Whatever.
Yes.
David Young, thank you very much.